Hello and welcome to the all-new La Liga Talking Points show on Guardian Football with me, Andy Brassell. It's just one show a week now, but we're going to have everything you need to know about Spanish football all crammed in to that one section that's going to come up every Tuesday. First, we're going to be looking back at the best moments of La Liga last weekend. We're going to be examining the burning issue in Spanish football this week. Obviously, this week it's El Clásico, and we're going to be looking forward to the key games of the coming weekend, so stay with us. Now, Atletico did put that defeat by Valencia last weekend at the Mestalla behind them with a win over Espanyol, which was fairly routine, but it was almost too routine. 2 goals from set pieces again by Thiago, and can you believe it, even Luis Suarez got on the score sheet. But again, no goals for their strikers, and it's becoming a bit of a problem in the post-Diego Costa landscape. You have expensive signings in Mandzukic, Griezmann, Jimenez, and Alessio Cerci, of course, and they've got a grand total of 3 league goals between them. Now, there are 2 ways you can look at this. Either there's a problem and they've got to find more fluidity, although they were never fluid even at their very best when they were champions last season, or that there's so much more to come, and when Atletico and their strikers really hit their straps, there'll be a genuine proposition and a real title contender again. Yeah, we haven't been able to say Super Depor for a while, but Deportivo La Coruña gave us that right on Sunday afternoon with a fantastic win over Valencia, and who would have picked it? Valencia arrived at Riazor unbeaten. Depor were bottom of the table. Victor Fernandez, their coach, under real pressure, but he went out and reacted splendidly, fielding a very, very attacking lineup, and it worked. They blew Valencia away in the first half. A little bit of luck with the first goal, an own goal by Jose Gaya, and did it go over the line? Didn't it? Who knows, but Valencia weren't really complaining, to their credit. They were picked off in the second half by a Depor team that really deserved the win, and Nuno, the coach of Valencia, who's done so brilliantly in his first La Liga season, was quite honest about their deserve to win, and they hadn't really got started. Now, of course, it was a big day for him, going back to his former club where he played as a goalkeeper and being reunited with Fernandez, who he won the World Club Championship with Porto against Once Caldas in 2004 as well. But a great restart to the season for Depor. Yes, the Basque clubs in La Liga still not really quite firing this season, and that was the case for Athletic Bilbao this weekend and their talismanic striker, Aris Aduriz. He started the game really well, scoring a penalty in the first 10 minutes, and it really looked like it was going to be his day, but he later had 2 goals disallowed. The second one, it has to be said, very contentiously for a borderline offside, and he cut a really frustrated figure by the end of the afternoon, a feeling compounded by Nolito's equaliser for Celta that saw the Galicians leave with a share of the spoils. But nevertheless, even if it was a tough afternoon for Aduriz, it still shows that well into his 30s, he's someone who can really carry Athletic still, and that's going to be really important as they try and battle their way back up the table. No doubt about the big talking point of La Liga this week. That's right, it's the first El Clásico of the season. Kicks off at 6 o'clock local time on Saturday at the Bernabeu, and it's the case they're talking about in Spain of the irresistible force Cristiano Ronaldo with 15 goals in 8 La Liga games to date against the immovable object, the Barcelona defence. Can you believe it? Still not conceded a goal 8 games into the season, but Madrid going to have to make a few little tweaks as they seek to breach that defence this week. Probably a 4-4-2, because Gareth Bale isn't going to make it. It's a real disappointment considering he's in much better nick than when he made his Clásico debut at about the same stage last season, but out injured, so it looks like a Cristiano Ronaldo playing up top with Karim Benzema, and a midfield with James, a little bit more narrow role on the left hand side, which will probably suit him, and Isco, who made such a good impression at Levante at the weekend. And if there's going to be a surprise hero of this Clásico, maybe it could be him. He's looking in really prime form. Now, there's good Nick and there's great Nick, and the latter is what the pairing of Lionel Messi and Neymar are in at the moment. This almost telepathy between them that's been in evidence throughout the season is still there, and it really showed against Eibar last weekend. The third goal in particular, scored by Messi, created by Neymar, a wonderful 1-2 between them before Messi smashed it in the corner, showed really the sort of level that they're on at the moment. Now, of course, there's a third person to the party this weekend with the return of Luis Suarez, which is absolutely huge moment for him to come in. I do tend to think he'll start on the bench. Long term, there's the question of what his addition will do, because obviously the 3 of them will all have to play in the same 11 politically. That has to be the case. How his arrival in the team will affect the synergy between Messi and Neymar, that's not really a question for this weekend. He's just a beautiful secret weapon to have off the bench, because that pairing of Messi and Neymar, they're the main threat to Real Madrid. There are threats all over the pitch though, and I really want to look at the threats posed by some of those newer players. Of course, James Rodriguez will be making his Clásico Clásico debut in better shape, as we were saying before, to make an impact in his first Clásico than Gareth Bale was at this time last year, looking in brilliant nick as well with the goal he scored at Levante at the weekend, and he will be really suited by this new midfield shape as well. Toni Kroos has got a real cool head and could flourish even in the pressure cooker atmosphere of El Clásico. I want to look at Ivan Rakitic for Barcelona. He's hugely influential to the way they play already, and his importance acknowledged not just by the fact that he was left out against Eibar to give him a bit of a breather last weekend, but by the fact that he was sitting in the box at the Camp Nou next to Sergio Busquets, also rested, and Carles Puyol. Says a lot about his status already. Now, whereas El Clásico might be the keynote fixture of this weekend, there are plenty more to look forward to. One that's really caught my eye in the coming La Liga weekend is Sevilla against Villarreal at the Sánchez Pizjuán. Of course, such an atmospheric stadium, and two of the most attractive teams in La Liga meeting in this one. Sevilla really looking to consolidate their best ever start in La Liga, and there's so much attacking talent on the pitch. Now, these two teams of such attacking talent are the beneficiaries of both of rather dodgy decisions last weekend. They both had offside goals that should have been disallowed but weren't. Carlos Bacca in an offside position when he opened the scoring for Sevilla at Elche in their 2-0 win, and Ikechukwu was a fair way off himself when he scored the second goal against Almeria. But nevertheless, so many players to look forward to, so many other players who can score goals. Really looking forward to seeing Kevin Gamero again, who scored in his first game back in 5 months after an injury layoff for Sevilla. And Villarreal under Marcelino always come to play as well, so this is one to watch. A big weekend ahead for both Cordoba and Levante. Both of these teams struggling at the bottom of the table and separated from their coaches this week. Albert Ferrer leaving Cordoba, the only team not to have won a game in La Liga yet this season. And they face Real Sociedad this coming weekend, looking to break that duck. Levante, who got that battering from Real Madrid, separated from Jose Luis Mendilibar on Monday night. They've got rather more of a tricky game away at Celta de Vigo, so a tough task for them. Now, Valencia aim to bounce back from that surprise defeat at Deportivo this weekend. Nuno, after the game, we said he was very measured. He said that a team that wants to qualify for the Champions League can't go and lose 2 games in a row. Well, we're going to find out. They've got the visit of Elche to the Mestalla from just up the road. Valencia will be expected to beat them. This is the first time there's been some real pressure on their young team, so let's see how they respond to that. Okay, that is it for the new La Liga Talking Points show on Guardian Football. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to get involved. As always, leave your comments and questions, actually. We're going to aim to answer your questions next week, so either leave them below the line on the comments section or tweet me at Andy Brassell, 2 S's, 2 L's, and we will be answering those next week. The same format applies, this one big catch-all thing for the Bundesliga with Ralf Honigstein, Liga with Julien Laurent, and Serie A with James Horncastle. Don't forget to click to subscribe to get those as well, and we will see you back here next Tuesday.